Hello everyone, my name is Carlo Peluso. I'm a senior solution architect at Reply. I came from Italy, and today I would like to start with a slightly painful statement that comes from a report from the MIT that basically says the harsh truth. So the 95% of generative AI projects never reach production as of today. Think about it. I repeat again. The 95% of POCs that we develop never delivers value in production currently. So never optimize costs, never speed up processes, nothing. And we asked ourselves, okay, which are the reasons behind this number? This very high number of POCs. And we think that the two main reasons are this one. So first of all, we think that often the business value of such POCs is unclear, meaning that nobody can tell what success even looks like on such POCs, which are the success criteria, which are the results we expect, and so on and so forth. So that's the first thing. On the other hand, we think that most of the time the technology is not aligned with the business requirements some way. So maybe we develop fantastic POCs that does a lot of stuff, a lot of cool features and functionalities, but still these functionalities never match what the business actually want. Of course, developing these POCs, these 95% of POCs that fail, takes a lot of time. Gartner says that the whole process going from 0 to 100 so going from the idea to production takes on average 7 months. Of these 7 months, 2 months are just dedicated to the development of the POCs. So can you imagine how much time are we wasting building stuff that never gets to production? So we can state that testing ideas is expensive in terms both of time and money, because of course these POCs costs, but also organizations are losing momentum some way. So we are basically losing hope some way on the technology. We tried AI, but the results were not what we expected, and so on and so forth. Organizations start losing hope on the technology. What we think is that organizations and businesses need to fail faster. Can be strange, but failing faster means that businesses should learn faster. Which ideas are actually concrete, powerful, and so on and so forth, and discard the ideas that are not interesting and that will never be able to get into production, for example. So what if businesses could validate their ideas in hours instead of spending lots of time developing and looking to Jira and Kanban boards and so on and so forth? That's where the concept of meta agents comes in. So in one single sentence, meta agents are AI agents that help you build other AI application. One single AI application will help you build other AI application that you will use for test your ideas in hours. So what we have is a meta agent that has visibility over all your tools, all your knowledge bases that you have in your organization. So let's say you do have implemented fantastic use case in which all the logs from your cloud resources comes in and your AI agent goes to the AWS documentation, MCP server, and search, okay, what this log is meaning, or goes to your AWS account and checks if the current resource has some type of problem that the logs doesn't show. And maybe you have a Jira MCP server that opens up tickets for you if the problem is real, or ServiceNow tool, and so on and so forth. And you build this whole massive application. And you would like to have just a single smaller application that just uses Jira to check, okay, which tickets have more priority right now? How many incidents do we have on ServiceNow? We can reuse these tools through the meta agent to create a new AI application in minutes. And that's the whole concept. So reusing tools, reusing knowledge bases to create new applications. The whole process of creating AI application with the help of meta agent is pretty straightforward. So basically what happens, and we will see the demo in a few minutes, what happens is that the users describe their requirements. So as the example I mentioned before, I need an assistant that can help me oversee the status of Jira tickets and ServiceNow tickets, for example. The meta agent captures their requirements, the functional requirements, the business requirements, and selects the proper tools that are needed to accomplish such tasks. Then the meta agent prepares a system prompt built from the new AI application, and once the overall configuration of the new AI application is fine, also for the user, the meta agent deploys by itself the whole application. And this process, we measure that takes between 10 and 15 minutes on average. So once this process is finished, you can test it out and see, okay, this is something that could be useful, so we can work more on this, we can industrialize and productionize the application, or maybe we can just discard the application because we don't need it, we can do this thing in other ways, and it does not provide value for us. So the demo that we will see is very simple, and basically shows the whole process I mentioned right away. So as you can see, we have some tools. We have the location API tools, the weather API tool, and the search online tool. We have no agents configured right now. And since it is my first time in London, I needed help to prepare this trip. And so I asked the meta agent to create an assistant for me that can guide me through these 3 days here in London. So what the meta agent does is to search for the available tools within my organization. And it prepares for me a system prompt that the new AI application will have, selects the proper model for this specific use case, and tells me, okay, are you okay with that, with this configuration? Can we proceed with the deployment? If my answer is yes, and I say yes, call it London trip, the meta agent starts the deployment of the whole application. Summing up, this is the feedback that the meta agent gives me. So we have the agent capabilities. It says that in 10 minutes the application will be ready. I can ask for the status of the deployment here from this chat, but we will see it on the page, the overall status, which is here. So the meta agent is deploying the infrastructure. The meta agent is deploying the backend and the front end and the whole agent, of course, of the application. Once this is done, we can open up the front end of the application, the freshly created application, and we can already start to asking things. So for example, I'm asking, okay, tell me something about the prompt engineering conference. What this does, of course, is to use the search online tool that crawls data from the internet and returns them to me. This tool was selected by the meta agent, of course. Then I ask what the weather will be like in October 16. And then again, of course, the agent used the weather's API tool that the meta agent provided. Afterwards, I ask, okay, never been to London. Which places can I see near Canary Wharf? I will be here for 3 days. There are something interesting I can see. And again, the agent uses the locations API to find the places that I can visit here for the 3 days trip. So that was the simple application, let's say, that we built, but just for demonstration. But at this time, we can say, okay, this is something that we should work on, or maybe this is something that we can discard, as I will do when I will finish this speech. Also because I'm spending money on servers. And the servers I'm talking about are the one represented in this under the hood high-level architecture. Didn't mention it, at Storm Reply we are premier consulting partner of AWS, so basically all our applications are built on this cloud provider, but of course the methodologies remains the same for this kind of solution. We do have Amazon Cognito for the authentication. We have front-end application hosted on Amazon ECS. We have fully serverless backend layer and WebSocket based on Amazon API Gateway and Lambda functions. And we have our storage layers on DynamoDB, which is a serverless NoSQL database. But the core functionalities, the core features are stored within Amazon Bedrock Agent Core, which is the AWS service that let us concentrate on the functionalities our agent should have without caring about infrastructure and something that is not features driven, let's say. The meta agent has, of course, visibility on specific tools. As you can see, the meta agent can connect to the DynamoDB and to the deployment pipeline. This is done through MCP tools, of course. And again, as I told before, when the new AI application configuration is ready, the meta agent invokes via MCP the deployment pipeline, which is based on Amazon code build. That in 10 minutes creates a whole new application based on basically the same services we have seen. Summing up, which are the benefits we expect from this prototype? We have seen it a lot of time in this talk. We think that meta agents can be helpful for, I talked about organization tools. So organization tools should not be just custom tools you developed. With MCP, we have the possibility to reuse tools that directly came from service providers. We can reuse tools from Atlassian, we can reuse tools from AWS, and so on and so forth. So organization tools covers all these kind of tools, custom and third parties, of course. So the concept here is that more tools you have in your organization, the faster is the development and deployment, of course, of the new AI application. And as we started, the main idea here is to allow organization to fail faster, to evaluate ideas in less time than ever. And this was our principles when making this solution. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm here for questions.
Yeah.